The Bibbulmun Track is the pinnacle hiking experience in Western Australia. The track consists of over 1,000 kilometres of world-class trails and beautifully diverse landscapes. It draws in hikers from across Australia and the rest of the world. Typically those who attempt the Bibbulmun end to end take somewhere between 5 and 8 weeks to finish. My good mate Mackenzie and I decided to challenge ourselves with a 3-week completion time. This is the Bibbulmun Track. All right, we finally made it. Southern terminus of the Bibbulmun Track, 1,000 kilometres ahead of us. Keen Macca.
Feeling fresh and ready to go for it.
We are so stoked. We drove down from Perth yesterday. Kind of hilarious that it took us 5 hours to get here. It's gonna take us over 3 weeks to get back. The journey getting here has been interesting. Been a long time coming, but super keen. Let's rock and roll. Our first trail marker is just over there. Day one of the Bibbulmun Track. Mackenzie and I had been looking forward to this day for a very long time. There was a mixture of nervousness and excitement as we departed the southern terminus in Albany town centre. Albany is one of my favourite places in the world, so it was only fitting that we started south in Albany and the first 10 kilometres or so of the Bibbulmun Track walk through the town towards Albany Wind Farm. A 21-day end-to-end meant that we would have to walk an average of 50 kilometres every single day. Day one was no exception, with a casual 54 kilometres on the cards and our endpoint at West Cape HOWE campsite. Spirits were high to start the trek. We were feeling fresh, and walking through the absolutely sensational Albany Wind Farm was the perfect way to start off our 1,000-kilometre hike. After 25 kilometres on our first day, we finally made it to our first campsite of the trek. Because of our long days on the track, we would be skipping over many of the awesome sleeping huts dotted along the Bibbulmun. MUTTONBIRD hut was the first of those, but still great to stop off for a quick break. It wasn't long before we reached our first beach section of the Bibbulmun Track. We knew there was plenty of beach walking along the south coast over the first few days of our trek. Lucky for us, most of this first beach ended up being pretty hard-packed sand, and we didn't have too many issues. Not until we reached the first inlet, that is. Our first inlet crossing, it's flowing pretty hard out into the ocean. But we're gonna have to get across, so wish us luck. First inlet crossed, TORBAY inlet, and it was just deep enough to tickle the nuts. A little bit cold, but we made it onto bigger and better things. TORBAY Inlet was our first of 4 major inlet crossings along the south coast, and we got through it without too many problems in the end. A quick walk back on the beach, and we finally made it to our second hut of the day, TORBAY campsite, after 38 kilometres of hiking. We had a quick break at TORBAY hut before encountering our first snake of the Bibbulmun Track, a big tiger. We expected to see many snakes and other animals along the Bibbulmun Track, so we always had an eye out, but it doesn't make it any less nerve-wracking coming across a big tiger like that. Despite being a little spooked by seeing our first snake at the trek, we were super excited to be walking through West Cape HOWE National Park, which is some of the most beautiful coastline in Western Australia. just ticked over the 50-kilometer mark. Couple more Ks till camp tonight. And of course it starts raining now. We're about 20 minutes out. Got the rain jackets on so we don't get into camp super wet. But the sun's setting. Oh, it's just set actually. It was stunning. We're gonna hustle. Alrighty, we made it into West Cape HOWE hut. 55 Ks for the day. We're just setting up for bed. Gonna have a feed and we'll have a early night, I'm sure. We're both pretty tired. Gonna have an early start tomorrow. Get up probably around 5:30. Got another 50 Ks. So another big day, but we're both feeling pretty good. Stoked to be at the hut as well. It just got pitch black, so we avoided walking too much in the dark and avoided most of the rain as well, which was sick. But we're gonna crash and recover and do it all again tomorrow. Day 2 on the Bibbulmun Track started with a spectacular sunrise as we were leaving West Cape HOWE National Park. Our legs were feeling great at the start of day 2, which we were stoked about because day 1 definitely wasn't easy. Day 2 promised another 50 plus kilometers of hilly, sandy coastal track, so we always took our chance to take a quick break at each Bibbulmun campsite we passed. Our next big challenge on day 2 was crossing Wilson Inlet. We had heard from other hikers that this would definitely be the hardest inlet to cross, with deep and fast flowing water. Before we actually crossed, we had to skirt alongside the inlet until we reached the mouth. This section of track was very swampy and we saw way too many snakes for our liking. We eventually did make it to our crossing point and we weren't really sure what to expect. Alright, we've come to, what's this inlet? Wilson Inlet, and it's a swimmer. This one's a swimmer. We've got a couple lads down here at the beach who are going to test the depth for us. We've heard mixed stories all day from other hikers, but we've got to get across. We've committed at this point, and so wish us luck. It could be a wet one. All right, update. The boys got across, but they had to swim like 30 meters or so. So we're going to try a different way. But basically we have to go across, so we've stripped down to the jocks, we've dry bagged all our important stuff and just gonna send it in. Probably won't be able to film as we're swimming across an inlet, but if we make it, you'll know about it, and if we don't make it, you'll probably know about it somehow as well. Wish us luck. Fair to say we're not across yet, but we've made it to this sandbar. There's just this issue of a very deep channel just in front of where Mackenzie is, and I think no matter what, we're gonna have to swim over it. So, it's tiring work, man. The current here is a lot stronger than first seemed, and walking through it. We've walked 200 meters up into the inlet now. It's pretty intense. Oh yes! This is the way. We're freaking across! Oh my god. Second inlet crossing done. This one was way bigger and way tougher than the first one at TORBAY, but stoked to get across. After the inlet crossing, we dried off a little bit and headed to a nearby caravan park to stock up on some snacks for the next section of track. At this point in the day, we had walked over 40 kilometers and were starting to fatigue. But before we could head to our finishing hut for the day to get some rest, we had to climb up Mount Hallowell. The track was rocky and super technical, so we didn't spend long up on Mount Hallowell, and we headed back towards the coast through some private farms.
Although it definitely isn't fun finishing in complete darkness at the end of a big day hiking on the Bib, walking along the coast while the sun is setting was pretty spectacular.
Made it to Williams Bay National Park. Just walking past Lights Beach now. Whole bunch of really epic parts of the southern coastline here, which will be cool to walk through over the next few days. Probably about 6 k's from our hut though tonight. Got a bit of a hill to climb, which hopefully means a good view. Not that we will have any light when we get there, but tomorrow morning it should be good. It's almost been 12 hours on trail today, after about 12 yesterday, but that over there is our hill with Williams Bay Hut. Oh man, these last 2 days have been brutal. Probably 2 of our harder days though, so good to get them out of the way. Bit of a shorter one tomorrow, which will be nice. Made it to Williams Bay Hut. Ended up being like 53 k's. Just getting dinner on, then we'll set up our beds. We've got the hut to ourselves again, which is actually really nice. William Bay. Bit of a shorter day tomorrow, which we are psyched for. But yeah, we're gonna rest up, sleep in a bit, which for us will be about 6 a.m. and then on again. Day 3 begins, leaving William Bay Hut. Whew, 2 big days to start off the Bib. A little bit sore, a little bit fatigued, but ready for day 3. We got about 45 kilometers today, heading to Peaceful Bay. So we'll keep you updated and wish us luck. Not much beach here! Oh crap! When we walked onto the beach today, we saw a sign that had a diversion for winter because presumably there's no beach. I think we're right on the verge of that at the moment because the waves are hitting up to the edge of the beach here. But it makes for a fun little game. Just gotta dodge the waves.
Day 3 on the Bibbulmun was going to be our easiest day yet, with only a tad over 40 kilometers to cover. We were also lucky enough to be provided a chalet in Peaceful Bay, so we would get a warm bed and shower for the night. Of course, a day on the Bibbulmun never comes without a challenge, and we had 2 more inlet crossings on day 3.
So our 3rd inlet crossing, Parry's Inlet. We've come inland a little bit to try and lessen the depth and difficulty of crossing. That looks pretty decent here. Hopefully not as trouble as the last 2. And then we've got 1 more inlet later today as well. So that'll be all 4, which will be nice to get over and done with. Shoes off. Probably about knee deep over there. Not too bad. The tide's coming in though. Our little island is getting engulfed. I don't even care, I'm just getting there. I think it's just as deep. That wave's about to get here though.
Just dodge this wave. Clutch. That's a bigger one as well. Look at that. It's engulfing everything.
Damn. Man, that is sick.
This inlet is filling up. We did it. Number 3 done. After crossing our 3rd inlet, we continued on along some of the most beautiful coastline in Western Australia. Plenty of dunes, beach and rock made for an enjoyable section of track before we reached our next campsite at Boat Harbour Hut after 21 kilometres of hiking. We made it to Boat Harbour Hut, cheeky half marathon point of our 3rd day, 22 k's or so. Little break spot before we head on to the next inlet crossing and then on to Peaceful Bay. Our 4th and final inlet crossing. We got to get across on canoes this time, luckily provided by the Bibbulmun Track. But as you can see, it is definitely not crossable by foot or by swimming. Got to get over to that little hut. I don't know if you can see it, but it's over there somewhere. Wish us luck. Let's not drown. Made it across. Alrighty, 4th and final big inlet crossing done. Got across on the canoes with no issues. Even though it's probably, definitely by far the widest and the deepest inlet we've had to cross, it was also by far the quickest. Those canoes were lifesavers. We've got about 8 kilometers left now till we hit Peaceful Bay for the night. We are so stoked to get in, have a nice hot feed, and we're staying at a house instead of a hut today, so should be a bit nicer of a sleep before we head towards Warrpool tomorrow, but gonna rock and roll last couple hours and we're done for the day. All right, we made it to our little shack in Peaceful Bay. Shout out Macca's family, Tracy, letting us stay here. Oh, it was a bit of a fun one to get in, but we got in before dark, which is a first so far on this trip. Stoked, about 45 k's done today. Where do we start? Williams Bay Hut, and we've ended in Peaceful Bay here. We're heading up through the Warrpool Forest tomorrow, which I'm very excited about. We've got the treetop walk, the tingle trees. It's going to be stunning. Another 45 k's or so. But we're going to settle in, have a feed and have a rest. We're both absolutely exhausted, but it's good to be in an actual house. We'll take advantage of this tonight. Day 4, we are leaving the holiday house here in Peaceful Bay, which is super nice to stay at. We had a bed, we had a kitchen, running water. It was good. Can't say I had the best night's sleep, funnily enough, but I definitely feel more rested. We are off to the Tingle Forests today, another about 45 k's on the cards, similar to tomorrow. Got a bit of coastal walking this morning and then treetop walk this arvo. Got my beautiful wife here, Karis. She's our trail savior. She's going to meet us again later this arvo, which is going to be sick. But another big day, ready to rock and roll.
Lots of water on the trail today. So far nothing too crazy that we can't kind of get through without getting drenched, but we did hear that some of the trail today might be kind of waist deep, so we're hoping it's receded by the time we get there.
Day 4 of the Bibbulmun Track was an exciting one, as we'd be heading away from the coast for the first time into the giant tingle forests of Walpole. Before we got there though, we had been warned from other hikers that it could get a little bit wet along the trail.
We got water. I just got through, completely drenched. This trooper's just... lame. It's the start of our day as well.
With wet boots, we continued along the swampy trail, heading towards our first hut for the day at RAME campsite.
RAME hut, pit stop here, and wow, those views for days, unreal. Felt like a very quick first quarter of the day. Only 30 odd to go. Should be a really good day if we keep having a trail like that. That's beautiful. So chill, besides getting wet. We made it to Conspicuous Beach, one of my favorite beaches in the southwest. Absolutely stunning down there. We're up on Conspicuous Cliffs at the moment, but wow, look at that. That's pristine. Just got to get down there now and we'll be walking across it. Whew.
As we left the beach for the final time that day, we headed towards South Coast Highway, which we knew when we crossed over would lead into the tingle forests. We still had over 30 kilometers of hiking to go at this stage in the day, but walking through beautiful fields of wildflowers and green pastures made all the hiking that much easier. We eventually crossed over the highway and made our way for the first time into the ancient tingle forests.
We're in the tingle forest. It is absolutely stunning.
We only had a few more kilometers to walk to reach our next hut at Giant's campsite, and then we're on to the treetop walk, where we were meeting my wife Karis to have a bit of a break and enjoy one of the coolest attractions in Western Australia.
All right, we're at the Valley of the Giants treetop walk. Woohoo! Done 32 Ks today. Big day so far. We're gonna have a little break and enjoy the treetop walk here. Wifey's here. Hey, Karis.
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Super keen for this. Back onto the trail, had a nice little break at the treetop walk. We had some juice, we had some coffee, we had some cookies, and we had a little bit of a break. It was brilliant. 13, 14 Ks left to, what is it, Franklin River? Franklin River camp tonight. And yeah, hopefully get there before sundown, which would be sick, and off through Walpole tomorrow. Crossing the Franklin River. Sun is setting, the light is absolutely beautiful out here. Mackenzie's beautiful, the river's beautiful. Ah, this is awesome.
Couple K's left and we're at camp as well, and I think we're camping by this river just around the bend. Awesome. Descent record! People there. After 46 kilometers of hiking, we finally made it into Frankland River Hut. This was the first night on the Bibbulmun Track that we shared the campsite with other hikers. While we did enjoy having a hut to ourselves, it became one of my favorite things along the track, talking to other hikers and hearing all about their adventures on the Bibbulmun. After 4 big days on the track, we were both feeling pretty battered and bruised. I had been dealing with some chronic blister issues for a couple days, and we knew the next few days were going to be really tough as we dealt with flooded trails through the Pingarup Plains. It's literally just freaking kilometers of this icy water. Not fun. That sucked.
Yeah.
That sucked.